Stop multitasking. Why? Because multitasking doesn't exist. It's this superpower that we've been led to believe is so amazing. It's this thing that's going to get us ahead. In fact, we're going to get jobs if we can put it on our CV, how good we are at multitasking. But our brains are actually only capable of holding one thought at any given time. So what you're really doing is fast switching. You're switching from one thought to another thought. Yes, it might be at speed, but you're not actually thinking two things at the same time. It's a fallacy. It doesn't exist. Imagine how much more you could get done. Imagine how much more productive you could be if you understood that the concept of compartmentalizing, only doing one thing at a time, is far more valuable to you. There's some super smart people who understand this. And if you want to get a meeting with them, you'll have to phone and speak to their PA. And that person will say, well, how much time do you want? Or when do you want a meeting? And you might say, well, I'd like an hour, because, that's the average time of a meeting, isn't it? And they'll say to you, well, you could have an hour, but I'm afraid we can only give you an hour at probably March next year. And then you say, well, okay, is there anything else? And they say, well, half an hour, we can give you a half an hour towards the end of next month, or you can have 15 minutes next week. Imagine how productive that meeting would be if it's only 15 minutes. I can tell you that nobody would be late. I can tell you that nobody would have their cell phones on. The laptops would not be open. I can tell you that there wouldn't be a single wasted word in that meeting of 15 minutes. Imagine how much you would get done. Imagine the quality of your thoughts when this is the only thing. We've also been led to believe, a complete fallacy, that we only use 20% of our brains. And if we could just use a little bit more, just maybe 5% more, wow, how much smarter would we be? That's absolute poppycock, because we're using all of our brains all the time. And in fact, what we're doing by multitasking is we're trying to use our brains too much. Again, some really smart people understand this. One of the people who was given a terminal sentence, Steve Jobs, was told that he was going to die. What did he do? He understood the value of time. He understood the value of thinking time. He decided that he didn't even want to waste his thoughts in any of these thoughts that you are given in a day, how much time we've got to think. And we don't want to overuse our brain. So let's not clutter them deciding on what we're going to wear in a day. So for him, it was to open a wardrobe and to pick out a black polo neck and a pair of jeans, the same sneakers, and probably the same underwear. Not the same one every day, but, the same underwear. I don't have to think about what I'm going to wear. But for most of us, it's 14, 15, 16, 17 decisions that we're making, just deciding on what's going to match and where we're going to go, what we're going to wear. And what's for the women, I can just imagine what that looks like, the makeup you're going to wear and how your hair is going to be done and the jewelry you're going to put on. Wow, how much thinking time are you spending on that stuff? And if it's your thing and that's what you want to do, well then great, but understand what you're doing. And understand that when we're getting ready in the morning and we're trying to brush our teeth and blow dry our hair and put on makeup at the same time, as well as talk to the kids and make a bed and whatever else, we're really not helping ourselves. In fact, we're making it take longer than it should take if we were just doing one thing at a time. Imagine sitting on a Zoom call and you're not still busy typing on your keyboard with your emails open and answering your friend on the phone or looking at social media. How hideously disrespectful is that to be sitting there? How unproductive, how unhealthy to be trying to do so many things at the same time. If that meeting isn't worth your time, if that Zoom call isn't worth your time, you shouldn't be on it. You should be brave and honest enough to say, listen, this is wasting my time, or oh, I can't add value, so please don't include me, or please only include me for this 5 minutes of the time so that I can give my value and leave. How much more productive would we all be if we did things like that? I know I'm particularly bad with my cell phone. I know that Deborah, my partner, and my kids moan at me because they feel they're in competition sometimes with my phone, and they're not wrong. And my excuse is that I need to have my phone there because what I do is on social media, and what I do is connecting with people through mail and through messages. And if I miss things, it's my business, and I'm trying to generate income. And throughout this COVID time, that's been really hard, and I've lost so much business, so I can't afford not to have my phone on me. Well, that's not really true. Imagine being one of those people where you had a notification on your email that said, please be aware that I look at my email between 8 o'clock and 8:30 in the morning and between 4 o'clock and 4:30 in the afternoon. Should you need anything urgent between those times, please contact this person. Imagine that. Imagine for that half an hour how much of your attention you would be spending on your emails, because that's the only time you had. I can tell you your phone would not be in the room. I can tell you nobody else would be talking to you during that time, because this is the only thing that you would do. How much more could you do? How many of those distractions that hit us all the time are things that we could avoid, but we allow them because we think that we can do so much at any given time? It's really smart to put your hand up and say, I cannot multitask. That's what we should be rewarding. That's what we should be looking up to. People who say that are brave enough to say, I can't, and I refuse to, I don't want to, because I know that I can do better. I can be the best version of myself when I don't try to multitask. So that's a challenge to myself as well as it is to you. If you can think of somebody else who needs to hear this video, please share it. If you liked it, please hit like. Until next time, cheers.